Should I start over?
It's a classic way to do it. Test mod, Ivan.
I'm starting over.
Nick from Hawk Pro is coming back.
Okay, this is Christy back with another video, except for this video is something a little different.
Nick, remember when I first met you, you didn't detail quite the way we do now.
I thought I was the best detailer in the world, Ivan.
There you go. I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
And this is DIY Detail.
We are actually going to get raw and dirty with Nick McGurk to be...
I love the intro. Thank you. Let's actually, let's get real here.
Let's be real.
Let's do this!
I mean...
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Thank you for having me on. I think I'm ready. I've decided I'm just gonna unfiltered. You know,
This is totally
I'm keeping it coming.
raw.
just two people talking. No
That's it.
no one else is paying attention. Just an honest conversation between friends.
Just me and you.
Uh-huh.
All right, here we go. Are you truly happy with your life at this moment, Nick McGurk?
Ooh, this is a good question. I don't know what happiness really is. I feel like I feel happy every once in a while. I think peace is a goal of mine. I think feeling content feels really nice. You know what I feel like I've learned in 38 years is the rent is due every day. So to feel good is not just having a successful relationship or like a business or even having kids and having that go well. It's kind of everything. It's trying to get enough sleep, trying to eat well, trying to move, trying to feel fulfilled at work. And the rent is kind of due every day. So it's just a bunch of decisions you make every day that I feel like contribute to how you feel that day. So I think I'm probably as happy as I've ever been, you know, but
Awesome.
it's not like ecstatic, elated high. It's not down in the dumps, despondent. It's, you know, I do feel a lot of peace. I'm super grateful for where we're at as a business at DIY, and have two healthy kids, which I'm super grateful for, and it's amazing. And, you know, I get to be creative at work. So, and I live in an awesome area.
That's
And I
awesome.
get to work from home. So life is good right now. Life is good. And I think when tough things happen, emotionally or physically, that's when you develop more gratitude for what you had. And so it's a dance in life of tough things happening and then feeling grateful for what you do have, and realizing that every day you're getting closer to dying, and then appreciating life more, right? You know, and anyway,
Absolutely.
we could wax
Absolutely.
philosophical all day long. I don't think the
Great
people are here
answer,
for
though.
that. Yeah.
No, they are. We are here for you.
Okay. Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, thank you.
You know, speaking about DIY, you and Ivan seem to have a symbiotic relationship on screen.
Yeah.
He does Ivan, and you ask questions and you get the chat and the people involved, and it seems to really work. But what do you really think about your relationship with Ivan LaCroix?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't even know where to start.
You know?
I think I'm going to lead with the positive, right? Because there is a lot of
Yeah.
positive. It's like, I truly
Yeah.
think that we make a good team. Like, it's not just like two human beings. It's not 1 + 1 = 2. But I do believe that something happens with us two. And, you know, I think we were talking about earlier, you know, you're in the DIY tuber, and Bruce's Garage has Ivan on this week for an interview. So go check out that video too, and we can all support each other.
Yes, absolutely, guys.
On YouTube. And we were talking about how, like, it's a cheat code. You know, you just get Ivan in the video and you get views. And to some extent, that's really true. And I think I was able early on to leverage that with my background in broadcast journalism, knowing what a good soundbite sounds like, knowing how to make something not sound boring, right? Like, truly trying to make whatever interview subject I have look and sound the best and the most engaging, and like really trying to keep people along for the ride. And so I think I brought a lot of gifts to help Ivan and deliver his message. But Yeah, I think it's just been a really successful duo, and I think we've had a lot of like butting heads over the creative process, but you know, he was really right when he said, "What's the goal of our channel?" And for me, I was like, "Oh, I want to make it entertaining and da da da," and it was like, "It's education, Nick." He's like, "It's education, it's education," and I finally kind of realized like that's true, because even on the ones that aren't super stylistically interesting or seem a little clunky to me, like some of these videos, like people are there to learn about how to clean their car. And so that's been really like I've just learned so much from him. So like the relationship I have with him is truly a relationship. And it's like I heard this lyric in a song, someone was saying like I'm grateful for the kids that I'm raising and the kids that are raising me, right? Like by raising kids, like they're actually growing you up, right? And it's like I think the relationship I had with Ivan has like forced me to grow a lot as a person. And you know, when it's like, do I want to be right today, or do I want this thing, do I want to get to the truth? And oftentimes if I take my emotions out of something where we've butted heads on some things, it's like usually he's right, you know, and not always, but a lot of the times it's true. And I realize I sometimes get quite emotional about things. But again, I think that's what makes our dynamic really interesting, is that I'm unapologetically me. But I've just left a lot of the detailing stuff to him, I think. And that's kind of worked, where it's like earlier on, I kind of maybe wanted to do it my way. And he was like, no, we're doing it like Ivan LaCroix has a way and we're doing it this way. And I'd be like, but I'm a detailer too. Like, let's do it my way. It's like, no, we're doing it this way. And early on that chafed a little bit, because I was like, I really like polishing the way I polish. But then it's like, we did this recent video where it's like Nick versus Ivan, the DIY way versus my old ways.
Which was a great video, by the way.
It was exhausting just doing it my old way. And like, and that's again where I have to like pull back and be like, there's so much wisdom in the way Ivan teaches things, right? And the teaching of the thing is what he's so passionate about. Like, it's not about whether Nick's right or Ivan's right. It's like he wants you on the other end of the screen watching this detailing video to get so much value out of this, so you can have fun and save time detailing. And like, once I realized he's just like the Jedi of that, like that is his true gift, is making this all seem so simple and easy. Because really, it kind of is. Even though there's always that part of me that's like, but it's still a lot of work. But what if this happens? And what if that happens? It's like, that's okay. Like, that, some things can be true and the hypotheticals can be real, but like, he's just the master of simplicity and efficiency. And so I've learned a lot from him. So he expects a lot of me. And honestly, I think that's helped me grow a lot too, is like, you know, him being tough on me and wanting to get the most out of me is like really probably what I want out of a partner too, is like, it's just sometimes that can be hard. But that kind of breeds excellence too. So it's we are equals in the business, but sometimes it's more of that dynamic of, you know, father son or coach and player. But I kind of play into that too, because it seems to work well. And at the end of the day, like, it seems to be connecting. Like, we just celebrated 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which
congratulations on that.
Thank you. No, it's like, I've won Emmys, you know, from broadcast journalism. I was thinking, I'm like, what am I more proud of? You know, like the silver play button or the Emmys, and both are so unique. I think Emmys in an old school way sounds super cool, but like in this modern day, like the currency of the internet and everything, like that silver play button is pretty rare and pretty cool. So I'm like, and I don't get that without Ivan, right? We earn that together. Like, we have something together through thick and thin, tough times. Like, truly, he is the most hardworking person I know. He sleeps like 4 hours a night, and he expects a lot out of me, you know, and that's a beautiful thing. And I think anyone who's doing anything, whether you're in a marriage or a business partnership, if there's not some tension or conflict sometimes, like, I don't even know what you're doing, because we're really out here doing stuff, and decisions are made and opinions are shared, and you know, we're both very creative people with a lot of ideas about things, but just kind of learning where to defer to him versus try to like win the battle that day has been a really good learning experience for me. And honestly, I think we're in a great place right now. That's the best. Like, wrapping back around to good is like, I think we're in the best place we've been, you know, as a partnership, where it's like, he has just accepted where he doesn't think I'm, you know, maybe my deficiencies or weaknesses, and he's just like focuses on the positive, which I think is a great thing. Like, we each focus on what the other is really good at, we leverage that, and then we kind of figure out the rest. So that was a long answer.
That's okay though.
Yeah.
You're so poetic, and I love
I
that.
don't know about that. I don't know about that.
I know, but really, I mean, this is why I wanted to talk to you, because you are so raw and unfiltered, and yeah, and I'm really thinking about this. And DIY, you started in what, 20? Was it 21 or 22?
I think we officially launched in 22, but this was
22,
happening
right?
behind the scenes. I was involved about a year before that.
Before that.
And yeah, I remember getting the DM on Facebook from Ivan on Facebook Messenger where he's like, I have this business opportunity for you. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure you do, Ivan. Yeah, I was like skeptical.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, would I be able to like leave my career? And he's like, yes, and it was very like official, like very Ivan. And and then I didn't hear from him for like 6 months after that. But behind the scenes, he was already working on developing, I think, a lot of the product line, and hashing out a lot of the details with our managing partner, and then I got pulled in and got involved. So it's it's definitely a few years in the making for sure.
So, I mean, if you think about it, and we obviously, have talked a little bit before this interview, but you had mentioned in the beginning, you guys had very different ways of doing things. Although the way that you did things, you were successful. I mean, you had your own channel, Hawk Pro Detailing, correct?
Yeah.
And you had a business, and it worked. And although it maybe wasn't the most efficient, you enjoyed what you were doing. So in the beginning, when you were, meshing this relationship together with you and Ivan and what it is now, did you ever feel like walking away? Was there ever a point that you were like, you know what, I can't do this. I'm done. Was there ever that kind of rift, or has it?
Not that kind of rift. No, I think I remember we were polishing this Impala when we first met in Omaha the first time, and we weren't even recording it. We were gonna have it in the background of our podcast, so we wanted to get it all shined up. And we had like a polisher and a microfiber, and I remember we were all just gonna polish it together just to get it ready. And I was just there to have fun. I was like, man, I'm having fun. Like, this is great. I get to just polish and hang out, and we can make videos. Course. And I was doing my thing, and then he came over, and I think for him, it's like he truly believes his polishing method is the most efficient, safest for paint, all these things, and that it really does work, right? Yeah. And so he's just when he talks, he's trying to help you, but I'm sitting here like, and I'm feeling out Ivan. I don't quite know the dynamic yet, even though we've met many times and everything. And it felt like he was like, no, do it this way, and I was like, okay, but no, I'm good. Like, I've had a professional shop, like my detailing channel has 25,000 subscribers. Detailers Business Academy is a channel, right? But like, I know I'm here for a reason. I'm not just, you don't need to tell me what to do. It's like, no, do it this way. You're doing it wrong. Do it. And it was like, excuse me, right? So I had a lot of growing to do to like figure out, okay, is this meant to be a personal attack, or is this just how Ivan talks, right?
Yeah.
And it turns out like he talks like that to everybody, and it's not meant to be a put down. It's not meant to like, I'm telling you how to do it. It's truly from his heart. Like, he wants to help you do it better in his way, right? But like, you can imagine how, it just, sometimes that taps into like a nerve where you don't even know why it makes you feel a certain way, but it's like, wait, I'm here to have fun and make videos. Like, I'm not here to have you tell me what I'm doing wrong at every step, right? So I had to learn that's how Ivan is, right? And that was part of the learning journey. So there were times where, I'm an emotional human being. I'm a pretty sensitive guy. So there were times where that was very frustrating, but never a time where I'm like, I want to walk away. It's just like, Ivan and I just had to really work on. And there were times when viewers said, hey, Ivan, the way you talk to Nick in these videos, because we did some raw, unedited ones. And this is what I would say early on, is like, all I'm doing, Ivan, is trying to make you look good, right? I would say, we're on the same team, dude. Like, I'm trying to make you look good. But in the raw, unedited ones, before I think he realized the way he sounded, and I'm saying this knowing he's going to listen to this podcast, there were comments where like, Ivan, it's incredibly awkward the way you talk to Nick. It's very demeaning, da-da-da-da-da. So that validated me. I was like, yeah, I'm not crazy. That does. So I think over time, he changed the way he talked to me. And, there's a little bit of filtering there because, again, truly, this is like what he was born to do, is to teach people how to be better detailers. And he knows with 40 years experience, he's seen a bunch of kids like me come and go in this detailing industry who think they know everything and then realize they don't. And so he's truly trying to help me, mold me, grow me. Like, we're business partners. He's really trying to help me learn, but his is such a direct method that it was really difficult early on. And just like working on our relationship, and like finally I'm like, oh, this is just how Ivan is. All that being said, you wanted to know the real raw, truth of it all, and it's like, it's been a journey. It's been a journey, for sure. So,
but it sounds like one.
What do you think of all that? What do you think of all that, Christy?
I mean, it sounds like one that's been worth taking. And to be honest, being part of the Tuber program, I've gotten to know Ivan on a more personal level myself. So I can totally attest to what you're saying about, Ivan just being Ivan and his expectations and the fact that he doesn't sugarcoat anything. And he is himself very raw and unfiltered in, his suggestions and his comments. And really, they're not suggestions at all, because like you said, he expects you to just understand that this is the way to do it. But, you do start to realize that, man, this guy is just so educated and he has the best of intentions. I've never felt like anything he's told me or any of the tubers has been out of a place that wasn't, from the goodness of his heart. Like, he really just wants to see people succeed. And I know that he wants that for you. And I can really see, that you really respect him for being that kind of person, which is really awesome. Yeah.
Without him, there is no DIY. So, it's like getting along with him and managing that relationship has been so important, because I want him to be happy. It is like a marriage. I'm like, I want vibes to be good. Yeah. I don't think he'd ever use the word vibes, but I'm like, for me, I'm a vibe guy. I'm like, I want vibes to be good. If you want something changed, if it's not a ridiculous request, I'm like, I'll change it, man. Like, that's fine. And I used to be like, don't tell me what to do. Like, no, he's like, do it this way. I'm like, cool. I can do that. Yeah. Yeah. Do I get to, like, see my kids and work from home and be creative and make videos about cleaning cars for a living and travel to Omaha and get to go to SEMA in Vegas and like meet amazing people and hear stories from people, how like what we're doing is like helping them be happier and have a better life, and like all those things are true. It's like, okay, then I can polish the way Ivan wants me to polish, or like I can clean the car the way he wants me. It's not a big deal,
It's really not. It's not that serious, right?
But it is. But yet it is, right? Because I would say that stuff earlier. I'm like, dude, we're just cleaning the car, and it's like, no, we're educating people. We have to do this the right way, right? That was the way he said it. Yeah. And so I don't look at it like that, where it's like we're just cleaning cars. We're not, doing brain surgery. It's like, yeah, but like just cleaning car, like this matters to a lot of. So understanding that it's not that important, but yet in its own way, in the lane we're in, where we are business, like it is important. So it's this old dude with a beard telling you to clean a car, and people dig it. Like, so that education is so critical, and so that's why I don't minimize it. Like this, people's cars matter a lot to them, and so again, it's not minimizing how important it is to like actually properly educate, but also realizing it's supposed to be fun, and it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Ivan takes this very seriously. Like eats, sleeps, dreams about things with engines and cars. Like this is his life.
So Nick, I know that you have 2 children. You have a son and a daughter, and we have seen them. Just a quick blurb on social media, and they're absolutely cute. They look just like you. Definitely can't deny those kids.
How many kids do you have, Christy?
I have 4.
4.
I have 4.
Yeah.
So
wild.
And I know what it is to try to juggle a career that takes a lot of time and children. Do you, and I know, can I say this, that you're not married, correct?
No, I'm not.
Do you see yourself getting married and having more children? Or are you content? Do you see yourself? I mean, are you dating? Do you have a social life outside of Ivan LaCroix and DIY and your children?
That's a good question, because it's like I think I'm very open, but I also don't overly share about certain things. So I think it's an interesting question. So I'm not dating anyone.
All
currently.
The ladies are curious. So
no, I'm not dating anyone currently, but like I'm open to if I meet the right person. I think, depending on like the age that we're at, because I'm almost 40. Like, at what point is it too old to become a dad again? If I met the right person, I think that I would for
not
sure
old, Nick.
Want to share that, and like, but I think it'd be good to like get married first, and then like, I don't know, because when we had our first kid, we weren't married, and then
Yeah.
it was my ex-wife. She was getting a little older. It was like, well, we wanted to have two kids, right? We didn't want him to be the only child, Max. So then we tried again, and very quickly she got pregnant. And it was like, all right, she definitely wanted to get married at that point. I think for a sense of security, it was like at a certain point, it was like, oh, what is marriage? What an institution! Like we don't need that. But then it's kind of, I don't know. So yes, I think if I did it again, it was like, let's do it the right way. Like let's have the wedding, right, and then let's have the kid. So I'd be down for that potentially, if I met the right person. But who knows, right? I think it's
That's
pretty
awesome.
rare to find
Cool.
that.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I totally agree. the the world is different right now, and I don't know if you feel this way at all or if it's just me, but I'm just very particular anymore about the
Yeah.
people that I bring into my life because I have children,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty protective. But there's not a huge dating pool out there that what's the word I'm looking for? That aren't, creepy crawlers and I don't know. It's crazy.
I mean, you have 4 kids, and you have
It's crazy.
full
I don't
custody.
know.
Do you have full custody, or do you?
No, we share custody.
Okay, so you have
So,
you have some
It's
free
50-50.
you have some free nights then, I guess, to potentially.
I do.
Yeah.
I do, but I have gotten very set in my ways, and I kind of like just doing me right now.
do
I'm
too.
having fun just kind of exploring, again, this DIY tuber and the detailing, and I don't know. I'm not searching. That's, I guess, I don't know about you. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah, I'd say I would love to
I don't know
find
if you
that, but
feel-
at the same time, there's not that much time, and I try to get a good amount of sleep and try to eat good food if I can. I feel blessed to even have that opportunity, because sometimes I don't know. I remember when I had my shop,
Right.
things could have been tougher. I remember when I had my shop and my full-time job, I would have my custody days. Now there was a time when before I had custody, but I was just gone a lot. So I was married, kids were in the house, but I would just be gone a lot. And I didn't have custody days. I was just detailing. So I'd be at the shop on my days off for my TV news job, because that's the days I could work, right? But then all of a sudden those days off become my custody days. So I remember bringing them to the shop and then getting them some toys and be just hang out here and play. And this is when they were 3 or 4. Dad's got to go work. I know you're showing them an example of hard work, but that was hard, And then in the days I didn't, and I was just, or putting a screen in front of them, just watch movies, and they would just get bored and come out in the shop. And I remember just go back. It was just hard. And then the days I didn't have them, I would get home from my news job, and I don't know. At the time, I was prescribed Adderall for ADHD, but I would pop an Adderall and drink an energy drink at 8 p.m. At 8 p.m. And then I'd be up till 4. Leaving the shop at 3 a.m. was early for me, Christy. And I would come back here and maybe get an hour or 2 of sleep and then wake up. And I don't know how I did this. How many years of my life? What was And so detailing that, I needed the Ivan method of being efficient. I think back to that, and it's I don't know. I'm not here to coach anybody on how to run a business, but I do deep down have that passion, that love, I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah.
For cleaning cars, that part
I
is
do.
still fun to me. But again, I think when it comes to DIY, it's I defer to Ivan. You can be the detailing guru. We'll teach your methods, because really there's so much wisdom in there. And I get to have fun doing other things kind of my way. I get to, if I want to do it my way, I get to be creative with a thumbnail, or I get to make this choice in the edit. No one's going to tell me that's a bad edit. I mean, if it's a really bad edit, or if it stays on the same shot too long, Ivan will be oh, we need a little variety there, which I like. But how do we get to this point? Dating? Anyway, things could be so much more difficult. I could be getting so much less sleep. But when it comes to finding someone, I don't know. I live an hour out of the big city too. Everyone around me is a little bit older and has families, so there's no one around really so that's an excuse as well. But I don't know. I'm not really actively searching, Christy, but if it happens, that'd be great. Yeah. I think life is full of seasons too, and I'd say my number one, outside of my kids is DIY is like, just that's the priority.
Yeah.
But I think slowly but surely,
That's a good way to look at it.
I'm still like open to the, to the possibility of finding love.
Yeah. Finding love.
Yeah.
It's there. It's there. It's somewhere. So one more question is, what are your fears, Nick? What do you fear? Do you fear?
I think we all fear death, but we're like ostrich, head in the sand, like we pretend it doesn't exist. But I think deep down, because I didn't think I feared it. I thought it wasn't a big deal. Like everyone talks about it. Just like I thought I didn't have anxiety until I had to actually like stop numbing out with everything under the sun, including detailing and working, and actually just be with myself. And I was like, oh, I'm a very anxious person, right? So, but yeah, I fear death for sure.
Yeah.
And everything that entails. I think every day the body sends signals that you're not as young as you used to be. Your hair is thinning. This thing now hurts. Like I have tinnitus in my ears. That doesn't go away. Just weird stuff where it's like, oh, this is like irreversible signs of like, I'm going in one direction, right?
Yeah.
Not a big deal. I know it gets worse and it's not a big deal. It's my life. It's your life. You care about what you care about. So I don't want to minimize it, but, and then I think I fear like not being enough, not being worthy of whatever, we could go as deep as you want on that one, but, not being worthy of love maybe, or like not being worthy of, I definitely fear, so I guess, I would like to find someone, but also fearing that something happens to my kids, that the business fails and I have to, like, there's no plan B. Like, I'm not out there hedging my bets, like, all right, well, we build DIY. I'm behind the scenes, like, working on a relationship. So if this fails, like, there's none of that. This is it. This is my everything. Yeah. So if this failed, and maybe Ivan would say that's dumb because I feel like he plans for all these different contingencies, even though he's all in on DIY. Or like, I don't mean Ivan, but like someone who thinks very critically about the world might think, well, you should have a plan B, or someone who's a big planner or like a contingency guy. Yeah, I think we all worry. I literally, Christy, have no idea what I would do if this failed. So that's a big fear, and that drives a lot of this is just wanting this to succeed, So, yeah, I don't know. What do you fear?
Yeah. We're kind of twinning right now because you really took words out of my mouth, because my answer is pretty much the same, spot on. Death never bothered me before. It bothers me now. And I don't want to say it bothers me, but I think it started with my parents. I'm very close to my parents and they're getting older. Yeah. And not too long ago, I had an epiphany where I just looked at them one day and I realized that they were aging. And that was a big wake-up call for me. You know what I mean? Because you just get to that point where it's like, man, where has time gone? And so that was kind of my first, recollection where I really have started thinking about death on a deeper level, thinking about my health and me, my kids, and wanting to be here for as long as I can be because I want to see them grow. And so it becomes kind of like an anxious feeling again, where it's just like, you can't, I have faith in God. I don't know if you're religious, but I know that, he has a plan. And as long as I have faith, I know things are going to be okay, but I just can't help but to sit there and ponder on it sometimes. Like, man, I want to live a long, healthy life. I want to see my kids grow. So it's that part that kind of, stops me in my tracks every now and then. And then you're right. When I get up from, cleaning wheels and my knees hurt and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Why do my knees hurt? Or I wake up in the morning and my back is killing me. And it's like, what did I do but sleep? It's those little things that start to happen, like you were saying, to your body, where it's just like, man, I'm not 20 years old anymore. And that's kind of a weird thing to think about, if you really do sit and think about it. So I try not to, but
also hearing you say all that makes me realize, like, maybe we're just one of, billions of people over the course of human history, who have had all of these similar thoughts of like
Yeah.
what it means to live and die and to care about your kids and to notice
Yeah.
your body aging and like, and then something about that is comforting, knowing that, you know, that is part of being human, you know?
Yeah. I agree. I agree. So I'm happy to hear that. Like
Yeah.
it does. It is a little more settling when you know that you're not the only one who has those thoughts. I want to ask you one last question.
Oh, for sure.
What secret, Nick McGurk, that you have never told anyone?
Never told anyone?
Yeah. What's a secret that you are willing to put out there to the
Oh my
world
goodness.
that you have never told anyone, but that you're
Never?
ready to spill today?
Never told anyone.
Or maybe a lot of people don't know.
Hmm.
Are you willing to get that down and dirty right now? What's the secret?
Oh
Have you
my
ever
gosh. Well, go ahead.
have you ever done anything in your life that maybe you
Oh,
regret?
okay.
You don't want people to know about, or I mean, you
there-
could spin this in any direction.
No.
really.
There is a story that I'm not super proud of where I spent. Oh my goodness. Are we really doing this?
I don't know. Are we?
I guess we're doing this, guys.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go. The raw, uncut interview.
I'm telling
All
you,
right.
unfiltered.
All right. I'll spare you some of the details.
Okay.
But at 19 years old, do I want to share this story?
I don't know. Do you? Don't.
I mean, are
don't
you
feel
ready
pressured.
Are you ready for a criminal history story, or I don't know if we want to go. Ooh.
I mean, we all
Boy.
have a past.
Boy, we do have a past, don't we?
I mean,
All right.
I've got skeletons
I'm not
in
gonna
my
run
closet, so.
I'm not gonna run for office. I don't think anytime
You'll
ever.
be okay.
So I thought I was a pretty clever 19-year-old, and I had this this fake ID. This fake ID from Missouri. It's a pretty good ID, pretty good fake ID, breaking the law. Anyway, let's just say, and I don't drink anymore. By the way, ask anybody. And it wasn't that I was like a raging alcoholic 2 years ago
Yeah.
when I started. I'm like, I can't even handle a beer, so I quit drinking. But at age 19, I had a fake ID, and I passed out in a lawn in a well-to-do area. And then the cops showed up, and they were like, why are you next to a tree in this lawn? And there were like 15 cops. I don't know who called, but I think it was a pretty
Wow.
nice area. It was like a taxi drive. It's a whole long story. Outside of Chicago, I was going to school in Evanston and taking a taxi home from Chicago, where I'm sure I was imbibing in some beverages. I think the taxi driver probably was like, kicked me out of the cab because I was probably not super. I think I didn't throw up, but I was like on the verge, and he's like, get out of my taxi. So I remember that part. Again, not proud of this. I can't believe I'm sharing it. And then I think I just ended up on the lawn in someone's yard, and I got the cops called on me. Anyway, spent a night in jail, and that was a really humbling experience. You have that? Did you ever have an experience where like you realized you were mortal, or that like the rule?
That you're not invincible.
I don't feel like I was like this really like entitled white college kid, but I guess I could come off like that of like you didn't think the rules applied to you. But I think there's an element of being like a freshman in college, and you're drinking in the dorms, and you're going downtown, and you get this good fake ID where you're like, I don't know, like whatever. You don't make the best decisions under the influence, but spending a night in jail and then having to because I had worked all summer doing construction that summer, and I think I had a couple grand in the bank, and I thought I was like rich, but then having to spend that on attorneys and then go through the Cook County, Illinois political system.
Wow.
This is like the Al Capone, you don't want to be in the Cook County courthouse, okay? And I didn't have a car, so I had to drive from my dorm, get a car to drive at 7:30 to wait in line behind all these folks in the courthouse. Anyway, that I grew up real quick. And that was a real wake up call of you shouldn't be doing this. So I kind of stopped partying and after that. And anyway, didn't expect to share that story, Christy, but
Well, I'm glad you did. I mean,
spent a night in
that
jail.
wasn't the worst.
No, it wasn't.
It could have been worse.
I'm like, do I want my kids to know this story? But I'm like, okay. That's who I think about. If they ever heard this, but I'm like, all right, dumb decisions when you're 19. I feel like those are forgivable, right? In the court of public
I think
opinion.
they are. I mean, I think that's like the rite of passage. You know, at some point, you're going to make a dumb decision. That's how we learn, though. I mean, right?
Yeah, but there's
At
people
least
like
it
Ivan
happens.
there's people like Ivan who've never had a sip of alcohol. So like, you don't have to make dumb decisions. I was still an adult.
guess
Like I could have
not.
served in
You're
the military.
right.
Like there was still a series of like ill-advised decisions led me to that point. It's easy
Yeah.
with 20 years of history to be like that was not a big deal, but
Yeah.
I don't know. At the time, it felt like I definitely didn't need to. I put myself in that position, right? There was no one else to blame. So
Well, I mean, I've definitely been victim to making some pretty. I mean, I can't even call them dumb decisions because that's not even the word. I have made some pretty stupid decisions in my life, but I don't regret any of them
okay,
at
yeah.
all.
I mean, the path led us here, didn't it?
I totally feel that way. Yeah, I mean, you're not the person you are standing here today unless you've gone through some stuff, and it's okay, you know. I think some people get caught up on things they regret, and I think regret is so ridiculous. I
You
think
do?
I do, I absolutely do. I think it's such a waste of time to regret because you can't change the past. You can only be present and live in the future. So what's the point, you know, of devastating yourself daily on this thought of what you wish you would have done? I mean, you can't change it. You just do better next time, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
That's kind of the way I see it.
I think for most things, yeah, for sure. And I wouldn't even say I'm dwelling on this particular thing, but I don't think you're.
Oh no, I'm not saying you in
Yeah.
particular. I'm just saying in general, you know.
Like if I wasn't sharing this publicly, it would be like something I could chuckle about and tell you and be like, "Hey,
yeah.
I spent a night in jail. Like pretty tough guy, you know, no big deal."
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I felt the filter was like, if my kids hear about this. how
Oh,
would
no,
they feel?
I
was like,
totally-
all right, whatever. Like, it wasn't
I
a
totally
DUI. It
understand.
wasn't. You know, it was just.
Yeah.
It was just being a dumb, drunk
Yeah.
college kid, which I wouldn't say was inevitable. It was still my choices, but no, a lot of things I think we can dwell on and unnecessarily so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a balance, I think. For
It
sure.
is. And I think that's the perfect way to put it. It's such a balance. Everything in this life needs balance. And I feel like you have it in this interview. I'm so happy to have
Thank
gotten the chance to get to know you a little better.
Yeah,
You know?
no, I appreciate you having me on. I was a little uncomfortable. Like I said, I kind of enjoy Ivan having the spotlight. Like early on, I definitely ceded it to him and was like, I had friends who were like, "Why are you putting Ivan in all these shorts? Like you're half of DIY." And I was like, I get it, but like this is working, you know? Like
Yeah.
people dig it. They really enjoy hearing him. So
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for this whole journey and the fact that, you know, we get to talk about cleaning cars, which I actually do truly love still. Of all the things that I don't no longer do, you know, like I'm not detailing every day. And I think
Yeah.
one of my fears, I think going back to that, just to close it off, is like feeling like I don't belong here. Like I'm not worthy of this, you know, cause I'm not Ivan, right? I'm not like the voice of detailing authority, but you know, that
Yeah.
I know I belong. It's just deep down, it's you know, there's no he's like a one of a kind talent when it comes to explaining and distilling into like a very clear message, like how to clean your car, and he's just really is a brilliant guy. So I'm grateful to be on that team with him, and
Yeah.
that we've been able to succeed and give me opportunity to like share some of my story with you. So
Yeah. And again, I really do appreciate it. And I'm sure everybody else does too.
well, thank you for being a part of DIY Tuber as well. I feel like I've just been talking so much. I don't even know what happened. Like, where are we?
Yeah. Where are we? What time
What
is it? What
happened?
day is it?
What do I regret saying? You know, but
No,
Whatever.
no. You know, this whole DIY tuber experience has been an amazing. It's been an amazing thing. I'm so happy to have been chosen. I'm happy that you and Ivan thought that, you know, I was worthy of this program, and I'm just blessed. I'm blessed to be here. So
I think getting the one-on-one access to Ivan too, just for how busy he is, like for how many hundreds of messages and emails he gets a day. Like, I'm on the chat with you guys, and always he's like, just call me. You know, like I feel like just getting that like phone conversation with Ivan is like when you're a detailer and you're actually doing cars and you're doing content, like
Yeah.
having that kind of access is pretty
Yeah.
amazing. So I hope folks apply for this next round,
Yes.
knowing like what
Please
your
do.
experience has been. You feel like
Yeah.
it's been valuable?
It has been so valuable. And you know, the crazy thing is, you're right. When you call Ivan, it does not matter what time of day it is, he answers the
Yep.
phone.
Yep.
Like literally. And if he's
is
busy, he'll
tireless.
say, I will call you back in 15 minutes. And I guarantee at 14.57 seconds, he's already on the phone. The part that always baffles me, like, you know, you would think that he would be so busy because he's doing this stuff, but
He
you know,
is, but yeah, you're his
he
priority.
makes
Like
time.
as
Yeah.
part of the DIY tuber program, like
Yeah.
truly, that's where I think like the mentorship and the feedback just from
Yeah.
Ivan specifically, I think is phenomenal and yeah. So I'm glad you've learned a lot.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. And the application is open right on DIY Detail site.
Yep.
Anybody who is interested in applying for this program should get on immediately and sign up.
Always happy to offer
Yeah.
my thoughts on those as well.
Well, thank you, Nick McGurk, once again. I so appreciate your time. And that's all, folks.
Thanks for having me. All right. See you, Kristen.
Bye.
Well, Ivan, it's almost midnight. Shall we call it an evening? Call it evening.